25 minutes to 7. Yesterday saw the launch of TOPIC, which stands for Testing of Products Initiated by Consumers. It's a consumer-led and funded organization which will test the authenticity of natural and organic products and aims to protect the consumer from false claims and mislabeling. Joining me on the line is Peter Becker, consumer advocate and spokesperson for TOPIC. Very good morning, Peter. Congratulations on the launch of the organization yesterday.
Thank you, and good morning to you, Africa.
I imagine it was needed, Peter, because, you will go to, be it a supermarket shelf that has an aisle that sells organic products or a store that promises all manner of things, 10 drops of this and you'll feel much better at the end of the week.
Yes, exactly. And I think we've all had that experience being in a shop, looking at a label and then wondering, is this really 90%, whatever they say? Is this really milk from happy cows? Is this really organic produce? And up to now, there's been no real way that the consumer can conveniently check that. So that's a gap that we're looking to fill. And, I think it's also a time that we're in where the power of companies is being tested against the power of consumers. And historically, because the companies have such huge resources, they've always had the advantage, and the customers really been quite powerless in the face of that. But what we're beginning to understand now, if customers and consumers work together, then it's the other way around. It's the companies that are powerless. So this is a way of consumers calling companies to account to say, are you being honest and accurate in your labeling?
It's almost unfortunate that it's the consumers that have to demand this kind of service, where you would like to think that the companies that are involved in this industry would almost self-regulate and have an industry standard saying if you claim X, then you better have tested X on a regular basis to prove that that claim is true.
Yeah, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? But I think experience has shown us that that's not the case. And this isn't unique to South Africa. It's all over the world, Recently there was a study in the UK that found that about 10% of labels were either misleading or untrue. So it's a universal problem, and it's quite understandable. I mean, the company's motive is to market their product and make a profit, and they are going to push the boundaries, and we need to have some kind of control to push in the other direction.
I imagine we don't have studies in South Africa. You made reference to the UK having 10% of their labels misinforming their customer. Do we have any, even if it's a thumbs up kind of figure, what percentage would we be sitting with in South Africa?
Well, that is difficult to know overall. I think you're probably familiar with the meat scandal recently and how much mislabeling was going on there. Some estimates say maybe 30 to 60%. And if I can just clarify, it's also something that's not always intentional. I mean, take, for example, gluten-free. You've got a big factory and it's grinding up all sorts of grain. Do you clean that machine thoroughly before you put your rye flour in or your rye grain in? That takes focus and a bit of money to make sure that that's happening. So in some cases that isn't being done. And then you buy quite happily your gluten-free product that you might have be the first bag of the rye flour, which has got 30% gluten flour in it, So there's an example of how things can end up being mislabeled.
Peter, how is it going to practically work?
Right, that's a good question. Well, what we want to do is look at what the priorities from the consumer are. So we've got a website, topic.org.za, and there one can go and for free nominate whatever you think is a product that should be tested that you want. And at the end of the month, we'll look at what funds we've got, and we'll look at what the most popular choices were, and as much as our funding's allows us to, we will do the tests that have been voted for by consumers.
Are there going to be measures to stop a competing product from going on to topic.org.za saying, hey, will you test product X? Because obviously they want to, make sure that whatever they're mislabeling or the accusation that they may level against them is approved by you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. And in a way, does it really matter? The point is to get testing verified. And also, if you're looking at thousands of consumers, a single company like you're describing isn't going to have much weight in the power of the voting from people. So you do identify yourself when you go onto the website to nominate, so you can't just nominate 1,000 times. So I think there is a mechanism for that. And while you're talking about that, there's also an anonymous mechanism for people who maybe work at a company and realize that something's going on and they feel ethically unhappy about it. They can send an email to us, which we will treat anonymously, and look into whatever they're claiming.
Topic, standing for testing of products initiated by consumers. You can go to topic.org.za. Thank you very much to Peter Becker, consumer advocate and spokesperson for Topic.